Hello, so happy spring to everyone. Can't believe that it's finally here. Although yesterday I couldn't really tell because it was snowing here in the DC metro area. First of all, chime in, tell me where you're watching from, where you're viewing from. Does it feel like spring where you are? I think our high today is around 42 degrees. There's still lots of snow outside. It's currently melting, but that is exactly the reason why I want to talk about springtime allergies. So I'm not sure if you have spring allergies or seasonal allergies, but my family is definitely affected by spring allergies. And although spring is my favorite time of year, well, Christmas time is too. That's a hard one. But I do love when we start to warm up and everything after the winter time. The reason I'm talking about spring allergies is because my daughter, for one, she's greatly affected by spring allergies. And I know a lot of people want to change up what they're using for allergies, or maybe they're looking for some natural regimens. Perhaps you're maybe pregnant and you want to do something more natural, or maybe just want to use natural things overall and want to try something different. So I am here today sharing some of my tips and tricks that we use for combating springtime allergies. Of course, guys at home, you and women at home, you want to consult your own healthcare provider, but I'm simply sharing my experiences with you. At the end of this video, I'll be sure to share the link down below, and you can get the links and product recommendations for everything that I talk about today. So let's get started. Okay, allergies. Allergies basically is caused by a histamine response that your body has. And there's inflammation that arises inside the body that causes you to cough, sneeze, wheeze, have watering of the eyes, and all that jazz. And so here are some of the things that you can do naturally to help your body to alleviate some of those springtime allergies or seasonal allergies, depending on when you're watching this. Number one is that you want to hydrate. Make sure that you are drinking lots and lots of water. So water is not juice, it's not soda, it's definitely not alcohol. You want to make sure that you're drinking lots and lots of water, okay? So I am talking about at least 64 ounces a day. The easier way to do this is first thing upon rising in the morning, you want to take at least 16 ounces before you leave the house, and then throughout the day thereafter. So before you even start eating or drinking anything else for the day, you should at least have about 16 ounces of water on board. That will keep your body nice and flushed. And if you're having histamine responses, that will help your body clear any of the allergens or anything and toxins that are around you. So make sure you hydrate. That will help you combat your seasonal allergies. Another thing that we use around here is elderberry. Guys, you know I love elderberry. I may have mentioned it before, but elderberry basically, it comes from a plant, right? It comes from a berry. They make it into a syrup, and it helps build immunity. Not only does it help build your immunity, but it also helps with seasonal allergies. My daughter personally, she's 7, and since we started using this on board, she has had a lot of relief. So elderberry is another thing that we use for seasonal allergies. Depending on where you are watching this from, most people can get their hands on local honey. So the reason why local honey is important, you see my nice big jar here of local honey, is because the bees pollinate the flowers, as we know, and they go to those same flowers that we are allergic to, and they go and they pollinate the flowers. So when the people who help make the honey, they start making the honey, you have some of those parts of the flower inside of the honey. So the thing about that is, when you have a little bit at a time, let's say you're taking a tablespoon of honey a day, your body gets a chance to develop protection and antihistamines, natural antihistamines, against the pollen in the flower. So it's a natural way to build your immunity against seasonal allergies. It's not like you're taking a whole big dose of the flower that the bee pollinated, but you're taking a little bit at a time, so your body has a slow response and a chance to bring up natural immunity against those same pollens that you may be reacting against. So what I typically do, or I recommend, is start taking the honey on St. Patty's Day. So St. Patty's Day was like last weekend. Take about a tablespoon or 2 every day to help your body build that natural immunity. You want to make sure that you're using local honey. For example, I live right outside of Washington, D.C., so the honey that I have here was collected right here outside Washington, D.C. If you live someplace else, North Carolina, Florida, whatever, you want to make sure that the honey that you're buying, look to make sure that that's where the bees and your honey is coming from. All right, so here we go. This one is going to be fun. Guys, if you're enjoying this, make sure you share with your friends and family so they can figure out what some natural things that they can do to combat their allergies as well. So I would love that. So another thing that we use here is these natural eye drops. So this particular brand is Similacin. This is not sponsored, but I just like to share some of the things that works for me and my family. So it has all types of names in here that I cannot pronounce. I will not try. But it's a natural allergy relief, and this works, okay? It works. I'm going to put the direct link down below when this video is over. But basically, I'm telling you, my little person has been waking up with her eyes puffed up, and we use a couple drops of this according to the instructions in the back, and it works like a charm for natural eye relief. All right, so get into some even better stuff, right? Also, we have some homeopathic tablets here. When it comes to natural allergy relief, some of the names that I typically see come up are the allium and the adrenalium. So those are the things that you're looking for as natural decongestants and natural eye relief. So you can usually find this at any natural food store. I've even seen it at Whole Foods. So this works pretty well also. And it's small tablets. So even if you have a child at home that you think may not be ready to take tablets, I'm going to show you what the tablet looks like, because I believe my daughter started taking this at 6, 2, and she wasn't even taking tablets at that time. So it's not even big. See? So it's not even big. And I do believe there's also lozenges as well. As a matter of fact, I may have forgotten to show you something. There's also drops that you can use under the tongue specifically for grass pollen. So this one is for outdoor allergy relief. There's also an indoor allergy relief formulation, and there's one for grass. So it works wonders, okay? Now, of course, along with this, I know everybody doesn't want, like, don't mess with my food, but I want to say, you're talking about inflammation. An allergic response is the natural inflammation that happens in your body because you're having an immune response. So you want to make sure that you are steering clear of inflammatory foods, and that's white foods, sugary foods, dairy, all that type of stuff, even meats. You must make sure that you're eating those things in moderation because inflammatory foods lead to inflammation. All right, and this is the fun stuff right here. Lastly, what I definitely recommend for natural allergy relief is a neti pot. Have you ever used a neti pot? Comment in below and let me know whether you've used one or not. But basically, it looks like this, right? As you can see, this one is a little wet inside because somebody in my house used it this morning. And you put distilled water in here. It's very important that you use distilled water, or that you boil the water and you cool it. Your water should not be cold. The water should not be hot, because that would be very uncomfortable. You put the water up to the line, and then you typically get a special cleansing salt, right, for your neti pot, and you put that in, and then you go at it, basically. And it is some gross stuff. Have you ever used a neti pot? The kind of stuff that comes out your nasal passages. But it's great though, because God put the mucus inside our body to hold on to those allergens, right? So when you are able to irrigate it out, you help release all that nasty stuff that's stuck in there. So if you have a little person that is suffering from allergies, and the reason I'm specifically mentioning the kids is because not because I know most adults don't have a problem doing, oh yes, right? It's so gross. Most adults probably don't have a problem using neti pot. Although my cousin he just made 80 years old. And he told me, he told me he was having seasonal allergies, and I recommended he use a neti pot. And he was like, Lisa, you want me to drown? I will drown using one. No, you will not drown using the neti pot. So our daughter started using this at 5 years old, and she had a hard time trying to use it. But what we did, we went to YouTube and found a child who was using neti pot on YouTube, and said to her, but look, this little child is using neti pot. Don't you think that you can do it? And then she was like, oh my gosh. At first she was acting like she was drowning. But then once we showed her the child on YouTube who was doing the neti pot, then she did it like a champ. So I usually like to heat it up for about 20 to 25 seconds. Do a little touch test, you know, on the hand, pour it out, see what it's like. Mix the saline in. And of course, remember when you went back in science class and they were talking about higher concentrations and lower concentrations and osmosis? That is how it works. So you put that in there and that gunk comes out and you're feeling like, ah, so much better. So guys, so that's it for my tips for natural allergy relief. I have a blog post on the topic. Of course I do. So you don't even have to watch the replay if you don't want, although I love y'all watching the replay, because what I'm going to do is drop the link below so you can get all the tips and tricks and where you can get this stuff. Let me know if you decide to use any of these for natural allergy relief. I tend to use them all together. And I actually forgot one thing that we also use. We use a humidifier. So, you know, like a cool air humidifier, and we put our little drops in there. We also use essential oils. So it's basically a whole collection of different things that we use for natural allergy relief. You're not gonna get, when you're doing things naturally and using homeopathic remedies, basically, I just want to let you know, because it's working with your body, it may take a little bit longer before you get the results that you would typically get from something that you get over the counter or something that you need a prescription for. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to work. It just means that you have to have a little bit more patience. Patience, guys. Patience, I promise you. It's so worth it. So, guys, make sure you are sharing this. Share it with your friends and your family and your loved ones, because I love when you share it, because it lets me know that you appreciate the content, you're learning from the content, you find it valuable, and then I know that I can do more videos like this because you like it too, and I'm not just here talking and wasting time. Anyway, guys, look for the link down below. I'm going to share it soon. Thank you so much for listening and watching. This is Lisa Leslie Williams from The Domestic Lifestylist. Remember to live life with finesse and style. Bye for now.